Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast formerly known as Bettor Golf. Turns out there's another podcast also named Bettor Golf that got out there a couple weeks before us, so we're going to change the name. We're still contemplating that, but for now it's a RotoWire / Morning Read golf podcast with Jeff Ritter, Scott Jenstad, and myself, Jeff Erickson. Welcome everybody. It is Match Play week. We just finished the Honda Classic. Let's start off by reviewing what we saw last week. Diminished field, still no shortage of drama, at least until Sunday, when there was really no drama on Sunday. Matt Jones ran away with the field. Really impressive. Only guy in the last 7 groups to go under par. Just walked away from everybody.
Yeah, it was like what do you call it when it's wire to wire, but you're missing the middle wire,
yeah.
Right? I mean, it started so fast and then just slammed the door and took all the suspense out of it. It was an impressive win. Didn't see it coming. I mean, we talked about it last week, how it's a tough golf course and it was kind of a weak field, and you could almost feel like something unexpected or just kind of out of left field might happen. But you got to give credit to Jones. It's not his first win on tour. He's a cagey veteran, and it's not easy to close a lead out like he did on Sunday. So he earned a spot in the Masters this year. So congrats.
Yeah, I thought it was the worst tournament in over. At least it's a season back. It was just Sunday was boring. Aaron Wise 4-putted and kind of ended the whole round there. And I just thought it was a really disappointing tournament. None of the big name guys, I guess medium name guys or no big name guys, made a run on Saturday or Sunday. It was one of those few Sundays where I found myself flipping over something else because Jones had it. It was done by like the 11th hole on Sunday.
And there was plenty of something else this week.
There was, yeah.
So that had a lot to do with it. JB Holmes impersonated his British Open Sunday round. He didn't just backpedal, he back sprinted.
That was the best part of Sunday. Watching him on 2, like taking 14 minutes to hit a second shot. That made the tournament right there. And after that, it was boring. But seeing JB struggle was fun.
We like to criticize slow players here. That'll be no slow play. Maybe that'll be our name of our thing. I don't know. We'll figure that out. All right. Enough said about the Honda Classic. Unfortunately, that's about there wasn't a whole lot of takeaways. Let's move forward to the World WGC Match Play Tournament. I love the Match Play Tournament in the early rounds. There's not much drama on the weekend, unfortunately. The structure, especially on Sunday, unfortunately, there's just no way I think around it. There's just so few golfers playing, and there's just too many breaks in play. And unfortunately, we haven't had too many memorable final days.
Yeah, see, I'm like you. I'm a little bit like you, Jeff. I used to love the match play.
Yeah.
Now I like the match play. But it used to be, I mean, gosh, there were times back in the old Sports Illustrated golf office where we'd print out the brackets, put them up, and have our own, second March Madness pool running. And the round robin, format of these early rounds, I think it really sucks a lot of life out of the event, because really the first 2 days were the best days of this in the old format. You'd often get dud final matchups, still do, but those early days were just wild to see, big names just one and done going home. And now it's just not as easy. I just like the more cutthroat format myself, but I am excited for this week. I like it, but I don't love it anymore.
I think we need to grandfather Keegan Bradley and Miguel Angel Jimenez into the tournament just so they can match up against each other in a one and done.
It's I actually prefer. I'm different, you guys. I actually prefer the pods now. I didn't like when a guy would, like, you get Tiger Woods out there and he'd be home the first day. You're like, oh, well, this tournament just kind of got less fun and ended. And I think going to the pods is fun. At least you get 3 rounds from guys. I think for fantasy and Draftkings and that kind of stuff, it's much better. Like Otherwise, on Wednesday, you're like, oh, my guy's done, and you're just not watching him. Or at least you have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You get some duds on Friday where you guys that can't advance are still playing. But I think it's a more fun format. I think you can still print out the brackets. You just got to, pick to the Sweet 16 rather than the 32 and the 16. But I think it's a better format. I really enjoy it, but I agree with you guys. The Saturday, Sunday is just tough because you got 4 guys out in the course. It's really tough to get too excited about that. But it's just, I know. I wish we could have Stephen Ames back, but other than that, that was my most memorable match play moment when Tiger beat him 10-8 or whatever that was after he talked a little trash before the match.
That's hilarious. I do remember. I still like Bradley and Jimenez. I'll beat you up with my one good arm Bob Dole moment there from Jimenez, but I don't know. I like the drama, but yeah, we used to do brackets too in the old Roto News office, which became the RotoWire office. Yeah, we used to do that too, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. But alas, we do not have that here. We are in Austin. What sort of players do well at the Austin Country Club? What should we be looking for?
Yeah, it's I mean, when Kevin Kisner is your defending champ, that kind of raises an eyebrow in a way. Okay, we're not talking about the pure power player at this point. Kisner, I would say, in the times that he's played in team events, distinguished himself as a pretty gritty match play player. I think it's specifically President's Cups teams, but so that sort of, to me, that sends up the flag of, okay, it's a mixed bag, and really, I think probably the best attribute of all is simply just being good at match play. I mean, we've made the joke at my office before, you could have the Ryder Cup at a bowling alley parking lot. It doesn't matter. It's not necessarily about the course. It's about playing the man as much as anything. And I think this is a good golf course for that. And sort of the golf course is tough enough to be tough, but it sort of takes itself out of the equation of who's going to win this thing, which I like.
Scott, any other insights on that?
No, I think that's really good. I mean, it's a Pete Dye course, and I think that you can look at Pete Dye players, but I think Jeff's right. It's when you get a match play, it's one bad round and you're done, or one great round you can still get eliminated. Still, the guy's better than you. I think match play, the head-to-head comes into. So I'm looking at shots green, tree to green. I'm just looking for guys who are in good form, playing well. I think putting's a little bit different this week. Usually I'm like, kind of toss putting out. But I think you want guys right now that are putting well, because, I mean, you got to make big putts to win match play matches. And I think that, you get someone like Hideki or someone like that that's got to make an 8-foot putt to advance or to have a hole. And I think guys like that struggle a little bit. I like guys who can make a putt. Like, give me Patrick Reed over a 10-foot putt in a match play any day.
Yeah, I think that's a great call. Yeah, luckily Aaron Wise isn't in this tournament, so he doesn't have to.
Oh, that was ugly.
Does he recover, by the way, from this? I mean, that's a tough way to fall way out of contention really fast.
Apparently, he had a round last year. We had a 4-putt and a 5-putt. So apparently, it's not a new thing for him. But there was a stat that came up on the tournament. He had 5 4-putts over the last 2 years or something like that. It was like he was way off the charts for like complete blow up holes on the green. So. I don't know. That was tough, though. I mean, and he was up and legit chance to win. That was rough to watch.
I talked with our RotoWire colleague Len Hochberg on SiriusXM today, and he was talking about the groups. Justin Thomas, is the number 2 seed, and his group is really tough. It's the defending champ Kisner, Matt Kuchar, who does well in match play, and Louis Oosthuizen, who is a really good ball striker and has a good track record in this tournament. In fact, I think they've all advanced farther than JT has in this tournament, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, Louis has the most wins of anybody who's not won this event. So he's very successful, but hasn't won. And Kisner not only won last year, but he was the runner-up in 2019, but he's a runner-up in 2018 also. So it's like back-to-back really good performances. And
I've got a special interest in that group because 2 of the 5 golfers that I have in the RotoWire league that we're in, or I think whatever we name our golf league, I have 5 golfers going, and 2 of them are in the group of death. So I have Usti and I have Kisner. So good times there. I don't even have the favorite.
That's the worst when that happens, when your fantasy lineup just the deck shuffles and you've got 2 guys that aren't, you're already doubled up and not getting one of them out of the group stage.
Yeah.
Tough break.
Tough break. I do have DJ. He's got McIntyre, Long, and Na in his group. So that's okay. I'll take that draw for him at least. Although you never know. Na is a great putter, so he won't have the length of seeing that matchup will be wild. DJ will outdrive him by 25, 30 yards, and then Na will bomb out a putt from outside of DJ, and DJ will miss. But we'll see how that works out.
I think Group 8 is the most fun when you have Hatton, Westwood, Garcia, and Matt Wallace. It's like a Euro Ryder Cup team all in one pot. I thought that was the most fascinating group just by how it worked out.
Yeah, that's right. The Wright and Wally's hot train ended with Westwood last week. He didn't even make the cut at the Honda. I did pivot away from him and one and done at the last minute. Went with the aforementioned Keegan Bradley. That was kind of lukewarm. He had a good Saturday and then fell back again on Sunday. But I always need to talk about my picks because that's what everybody's listening for. The host and not the 2 experts. But anyways, what other groups catch your eye, Jeff?
I'm really fascinated by 11. I want to know where Rory is right now. The Masters means so much to him as the final leg of the Grand Slam. He's looked so lost and seems to be getting even deeper into the forest, as we get closer to this tournament. I think Poulter in his group is potentially fun as just the two veteran Ryder Cup teammates that'll have to go against each other. And I think Cameron Smith is like, I really want to take him out of this group, but those are two match play heavyweights that he's in the middle of. But Cameron Smith's just a guy he's just trending the right direction. It seems year over year. He just keeps getting better and better and stepping up in weight class. And I wonder if this might be a week where he becomes known for more than just a guy with a goofy mullet and the mustache, but actually, takes down a couple giants in this event and makes a run. So I think 11 is fun, but there's a lot of fun, kind of even just one-off matches that you can look forward to in the next couple of days.
That's funny. I had about 6 bets of guys to win their pod, and Cam Smith's one of them. I like him at plus 240. I think that Rory being in that group bumps up his price in that pod. And you look at Cam Smith's last 3 tournaments: 17th at Players, 11th at WGC Mexico, 4th at Genesis. Putted really well the last 2 weeks. I think he's a prime guy to be an underdog to come out of that group.
Yeah, I do too. I am not in a bracket pool, but I would take him out of this bracket. It's just, again, playing the odds too. A scrappy underdog that you think's got a real shot there.
I think 15's a really fun group too, because the lowest ranked player is actually the betting favorite coming out of the group, and Jordan Spieth. You got Fitz, you got Matthew Wolff, you got Corey Connors, you got Jordan Spieth, and Spieth's plus 188 to come out of the group. He's actually the favorite, which is pretty wild because he's the 4th seed in that group. But I love Corey Connors in that group, plus 300. He's the least well known of that group, but playing the best. He's played third at API, 7th at Players. Huge numbers in shots gained tee to green and shot gains approach the last 2 tournaments. I think he's overshadowed in that group. I think he's probably my favorite coming out of the pod group at plus 300.
And it's funny that you cited the 2 guys that are the C and D players in the group. The A and B players are Matthew Fitzpatrick, but he doesn't do well in match play typically, and Matthew Wolff, who isn't playing well, period, lately.
Yeah.
So. I would go Fitzpatrick here. I think he's due, and he's playing well right now. Also, just as an X factor, he's cut the first name down to Matt officially in the PGA program.
We got to change the database in RotoWire.
It's just Matt Fitzpatrick, guys. He's streamlining it, and I like guys that are keeping it simple. So when in doubt, go for the guys that had just locked in.
He's always Fitz to me, so I probably wouldn't have affected me either way.
Yeah,
he should have gone with Fitzpatrick. Now that
I like that.
Or Emmett's Fitzpatrick Hume or something like that. Oh wait, now I'm going into an obscure reference that Scott doesn't get, so we'll move on. But let's just go through some of the other brackets here, because I think there's some other ones. Victor Hovland, he's making in Group 13. He's making his match play debut. How much does experience in this event matter? Because there's a couple guys that are the A players in the group that have never done match play. He and Colin Morikawa are both. Hovland has been straight fire for the most part lately. He kind of in Florida kind of like failed a little bit towards the end of a couple tournaments, but his form is pretty good overall. What do you think about him in this setup?
He's a former USAM winner, correct?
That's true. That's
true.
So at Pebble, no less. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's also on my fantasy team, which makes me a tilt when trying to predict his performance. But I like him in this bracket a lot. I think this is another guy who, even as a first timer, I think this is a bracket that doesn't scare him. Answer will be tough, but I like Hovland a lot in that group.
I actually like Abe Answer in that group, and I like Abe Answer as a long shot bet to win the whole thing. He's 66-1 right now. Plus 225. He's 3-1-1 at the President's Cup. Really showed some match play skill there, and just playing great. Last 4 weeks, 5th. He had a miscut, then 18th and 22nd. The putting's been off, but the ball strike has been great. If he can just putt a little bit, I think he's pretty dangerous. And Bernd Wiesberger's playing terribly in that group. I would toss him out. He's the most likely to lose 10-8 this weekend. He's on my fantasy team, so I know that's coming. And Kevin Streelman kind of solid, but I think that it's Answer and Hovland. I think it's a pretty clear top 2 in that group. And when you give me plus 225, I kind of like the odds on Answer, even though I love Victor Hovland as a player and was quite upset when you drafted him. I think you went $1 more than me in our auction, just like the last second too. And he was a big target for me in that draft.
Yeah. By the way, I think it's interesting. In our league, 14-team league, 9 players rostered. We start 5 every week. Auction format. We've gotten more efficient. Usually there's a scramble to pick up those last remaining guys in the match play because it's a guaranteed paycheck. They're already rostered already. And maybe it's because we had a WGC like 3-4 weeks ago, so we had that mad scramble to get all those guys already. But there's no like, oh, who's that Euro who's playing in this? Nope, they're all rostered already. Too bad, you're stuck. If you had 2 golfers like one of our esteemed commissioner Tim Schuler did, better make a trade or hope that those 2 golfers are really good.
I think Antoine Rosner was the only guy of 64 that got picked up that wasn't available, right? That's pretty good, 63-64.
Yeah, that's impressive. Let's keep going through the groups. I mentioned we'll just I was going scattershot. Let's just go a little formulaic here and go through the top. Dustin Johnson, Group 1, heads off Group 1. Kevin Na, Robert McIntyre, Adam Long. Jeff, do you see any bogeys there for Dustin Johnson? Anybody to look out for?
Yeah, I feel about as confident in DJ as I do anything. I mean, it's historically, you almost want to just cover up the numbers next to the players because I don't think a top 20 player has reached the final of this event the last couple times, but I feel good about DJ. I mean, Na has that back injury. He pulled out of an event a couple weeks ago. So I feel pretty solid in just pushing DJ through that group.
Yeah, I do too. Scott, any other things to add about anybody else in that group?
I think Bobby Mack's a little bit of a sleeper. Guys that don't really know him all that well. But yeah, I mean, of the favorites, only 35% of the top seeds have advanced since they did the pod thing. But DJ would be the one that I take pretty easily here.
All right, Group 2, the aforementioned group of death, and I think this is a good point to bring up the selection process. How they didn't do this straight seeding; they didn't do it by rankings. It seems like it's more World Cup where you draw out of a group, right? And somehow Justin Thomas drew 22, 34, and 52, whereas Dustin Johnson, one pick ahead of him, drew 28, 41, and 61. Seems a little unfair to JT.
Yeah, they seed you 1 through 16, and then you just pull the names out of a pool of like buckets of different. So yeah, this is a tough draw. I would probably, certainly the chalk would say it's Justin Thomas finds a way. He's playing great, but I don't know. This is not a chalky event. I just took chalk with Dustin Johnson. I'll probably go Louis here. I think just if there can only be one today, I would take Louis coming out of the group.
There can be only one. All right, Scott.
Yeah, it's a great group. If I probably to do it betting odds wise, I'd probably go Kisner just because he's plus 325 and has so much success and is kind of an angry, tough guy that loves to play match play. So I'd probably go Kiz, but I think Jeff's Louis pick is probably pretty good.
All right, moving on to Group 3, John Rahm's group. It goes with Ryan Palmer 24, Shane Lowry 38, Sebastian Munoz 56. Start with Scott this time. What do you like in this group?
Yeah, that's a tough one too. I'm just looking at my list here. I'd have to scroll down. My eyes aren't very good. So Group 3. Give me that group one more time. Sorry.
John Rahm, Ryan Palmer, Shane Lowry, and Sebastian Munoz.
Another one where none of the 3 non-top seeds guys really jump out to me. If I had to go an underdog, I'd probably go Lowry. But I think Rahm's the guy here, and Rahm is a match play guy too. He made the finals when he lost to DJ in 2017. Yeah, I hate to go chalk here, but I'd probably go Rahm in this group.
We had some breaking Rahm news today.
I saw that.
Is expecting, and so he may miss the Masters or potentially leave the Masters early. So got to cash in quickly if you're Rahm. So I'll take Rahm to come out of this group. But I wouldn't discount Ryan Palmer. I think he's a steady player, Texan. I wouldn't forget about him, but I think Rahm would be my pick still.
And he and Rahm are buddies, according to RotoWire's Len Hochberg, too. So a little, I don't know if that has anything, at least maybe won't be as intimidated as much, perhaps, if it gets to that. Group 4, Colin Morikawa, never played this event. Billy Horschel at 32, Max Homa 35, JT Poston at 63. Jeff, we'll go with you this time.
Yeah, Poston, it's unknown. Homa, first timer, rising. And Morikawa, he's got a win, but he's really been kind of hot or cold other than that win. I'd probably take Horschel. Probably the most consistent putter of the group, I would say. And I would take Horschel out of this.
I love Max Homa in this group, plus 300. I think it's a really good bet to come out of the pod. I like that he kind of had the down week of the Players after the win, but prior to the Players, 10th, 22nd, the win, and 7th. Feels like a tough guy. I think he's going to play well in match play. I know it's his first time, but I think Homa comes out of this group and sneaks past Morikawa.
Yeah, and all these college golfers have a lot of match play experience. That is one thing. These younger golfers, they do it in college all the time. So, and
we'll get the UC Berkeley matchup too. Homa and Morikawa, same college.
Ah, very true, very true. Group 5. Contrast Bryson's group with Justin Thomas's group. Tommy Fleetwood at 21. Recent form isn't that great. Siwoo Kim at 45 and Antoine Rosner at 58. Not exactly at least in terms of name value, it's certainly not the same as Justin's group there. Scott, we'll go with you first this time. What's your reaction to this group?
Yeah, not overly fired up about this group, to be honest. I've gotten a lot of underdogs to win. I'd probably just go Bryson to win this group. I just think that in a match play, he can if he blows up a hole, it doesn't really matter. So he can go for a lot of stuff. I think he'll be pretty aggressive. I'd probably go Bryson out of this group just because Fleetwood's form is not great lately.
Yeah, same. Also, I would add, I'm looking forward to seeing Antoine Rosner. I don't even know what he looks like. Just like trickled into the field. There's a mystery man for me. So he's the one guy I don't think I've ever seen hit a shot. I take Bryson out of this group.
All right. Group 6, Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler at 30, Jason Day, 44, former winner twice, 2 different venues, but not this one yet. And Andy Sullivan at 57. Jeff, you get to go first on this one. Thoughts?
I'll take the Texans Scotty Scheffler, but this is another intriguing group that somehow we missed when we were just highlighting our favorite groups. I like this one a lot. I think Jason Day is just someone that always kind of lures me in. He's got a good course history at a lot of places on tour. You just never know with him when it's gonna. He's kind of in this like drifting stage as well in a way where I just don't know. I don't know where he is anymore, but I want to take Day. Xander, of course, being a top 10 guy is interesting, but I just think this is a moment for Scotty Scheffler. He had a great rookie year. Mm-hmm. This is a chance to just continue that ascent that I think he's on, and I'll take him to come out of the group.
I'm gonna go Day as the third guy in this group at plus 250. I love how he played at the Players. The putting was terrible, but everything else was great. Gained 11.2 tee to green, gained 4.2 around the green, 4.8 off the tee. I think he's rounding into form just at the right time, and I think as the third highest or the third favorite in this group, I kind of like him as an underdog coming out of this one.
And usually he's a great putter too.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. So that's funny. That's what let him down. Group 7, Patrick Reed. We mentioned him earlier. He gets Joaquin Niemann, Christian Bezuidenhout, and Bubba Watson. 7, 26, 33, and 55, respectively. Bubba has a pretty good track record in this event as well. He's either all or nothing, actually, which is pretty much his career. But Scott, what's your reaction to Group 7?
I love Joaquin Niemann as a player, but in match play, I'm just going to go Patrick Reed. I don't think there's anybody I'd want more in a one-on-one match play situation. I think he will make every putt that matters, and that's what I want in a match play situation. So not only do I like Reed plus 150 in this group, I like Reed at 28-1 to win the whole thing.
All right. Jeff Ritter.
Solid pick. I'm intrigued to see more of Bezuidenhout. Another guy's just kind of slowly moving up the ranks, doing most of it internationally, but I haven't seen enough of Niemann as a match play player, and Bubba. I mean, it could be a Bubba week. You won't really know until you're in the middle of a Bubba week, So I would take Reed out of this. I like him a lot, and I think Scott's pick even has a potential to win the thing. I would probably slot Reed straight to my final four. Looking beyond, I don't know about win the thing, but I would go final four with Patrick Reed. I like this draw for him.
I'm just impressed both you guys pronounced the last name so well on Christian. That was impressive.
Oh, thank you. Well, he's on my team, so I've had some practice. Otherwise, I probably would have butchered it badly. All right, Group 8, the Euro Tea Party. Tyrrell Hatton, Lee Westwood, Hit the Ball Already, Sergio Garcia, and Matt Wallace. Jeff, you get to start on this one.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm going to pick Sergio.
Yes.
He's playing well. The Westwood, I mean, of course Westwood's had this revival, but I don't know. I mean, it didn't look so great last week. Hatton, of course, can run hot or cold. Wallace is hot and cold, also temperamental.
This is a very temperamental group, actually. They all are.
Fun group, but I'm going to lean on the experience mixed with the current form, and I'm going to say Sergio finds a way to get himself out of this group.
Lives in Texas, too. Little known fact.
Yeah. Spent some time in Austin. That's true. Part-time resident.
Scott?
Well, we had to agree on one. I'm actually going Sergio here, too, at the odds. He played great at the Players. Gained 8.9 off the tee to green and 8.3 on approach. Made the Sweet 16 the last 2 times this tournament. Loves match play. I think Hatton is a guy that if he got out of this group could win the whole thing too. But I think Sergio finds a way to get out of this group.
All right, I'm going to start whipping through these a little quicker because we got 8 more brackets to get through, and we still got to talk a little DK here. So Group 9, Webb Simpson, Paul Casey, 9 and 17 respectively. Mackenzie Hughes at 48 and Taylor Gooch at 59. Scott, quick thought.
It's disrespectful that Webb Simpson is not the favorite in this group. Paul Casey is, so I'm taking Webb Simpson plus 175 as someone I'd like to bet to win this pod.
Jeff?
You got to take one off the bottom line. And I just think Taylor Gooch he's playing well this year. So is Casey. So I'm going to take Gooch. You got to throw a few random ones in there. I'm going to take Taylor Gooch.
All right. There you go. Big upset pick there. Group 10, Patrick Cantlay, Hideki Matsuyama, Carlos Ortiz, Brian Harman, 10, 23, 42, and 54 respectively. Jeff?
I don't have the odds in front of me, but I got to think Cantlay is a heavy favorite. I think it's probably him coming through. I would watch out for Ortiz, though, who would be tempting if you get a good underdog odds on him.
Any other thoughts, Scott?
I'm going Brian Harman at plus 335. Ortiz is plus 350, by the way, Jeff. I'm going Harman just off the recent form. Played great at the Players, pretty much across the board, putted really well. I'm going to go Harman the upset, and Patrick Cantlay kind of annoys me anyway, so I'm just going to pick against him.
He was on my team last year, and he annoyed me too because he didn't win until it was too late. And Group 11, Rory. Last seed admitting that Bryson's in his head. Cameron Smith at 25. Lanto Griffin at 46. And Ian Poulter, his Ryder Cup teammate, at 60. Scott, what say you?
I already picked this one earlier. It's one of my favorite bets. I love Cam Smith at plus 240 to come out of this group.
Right.
I mentioned the recent form. I like that you have a huge name in the group, kind of puts everybody else's prices up. And Poulter's form doesn't scare me right now. Griffin playing well, but I like Cam Smith coming out of here.
Yeah, Griffin is playing pretty well. It's tempting, but I said it earlier. I'm on to Cam Smith on this one. I think Rory's one of the most fascinating guys in the field, but Cam Smith would be my pick.
All right, Group 12, Tony Finau at 12, Jason Kokrak, 29, Will Zalatoris at 40, and Dylan Fratelli at 64. Jeff?
That's a tough one. My heart says Finau, but Kokrak's playing pretty well this year. Zalatoris is intriguing as another guy who's just on the rise. I'll go Will. I'll take the thrill.
Zalatoris, one of my favorite picks in this group, plus 260, 21st, 10th, 22nd, 15th the last 4 weeks. I like him at 50-1 as a long shot to win the whole thing, too.
All right. Some calls being made. I like it. Group 13, we mentioned this earlier. This is the Hovland Answer group. We already discussed it, so I'm going to move on to Group 14. Group 14 is Daniel Berger. Harris English is seated 19th, Brendan Todd 47th, and Eric Van Rooyen 62. Scott, what say you?
One of those few groups where I don't really have a strong feel. None of these guys really jumped out to me, and Berger and English kind of feel similar to me. So I'm just going to take the long shot here. You need a bottom line, guys. Jeff said I'm going to take Van Rooyen at plus 400 to get hot. I don't know. This is one of the few groups I don't have a great feel on.
Yeah, Berger sat out, a week in injury. Yeah. Also, so I'd stay clear of that. I'll just go up one line and say Brendan Todd, a guy who's shown he can win events before. Why couldn't he get hot one more time and come out of this group? But this feels like when you just almost shuffle the deck and pull a name.
I thought so too.
All right, we already covered Group 15. That's the Fitzpatrick, Wolf, Connor Spieth group. Group 16, Sungjae Im, 16, Victor Perez, 31, Mark Leishman, 36, Russell Henley, 50. I don't love Im's recent form, guys, but I'm not afraid of this group. I think Scott started this last one. Jeff, what say you?
Yeah, same. I might go all the way down to Henley, who played pretty well at the Honda, at least for a while. I don't know. This is another one where it feels very tough, and probably whoever I'm picking from this group, I'm probably penciling them in to lose immediately in the next round of my bracket. But I'll go back to the bottom line one more time to take Russell Henley.
I think I go Henley also. He's actually the second favorite. He's plus 225. I'm just a little bit worried about Sungjae's irons have not been good. He was good everywhere else. Putted great at Honda, but lost 3.4 shots per approach. And in his last 5 tournaments, he's lost more than 2 shots on approach in 4 of those 5 tournaments. I'm just a little worried that he's been really good putting the last 2 weeks. It's hidden the fact that he's not hitting the balls, hitting his irons as well as he normally does. And I'm going to fade there. And I'll go with Henley in the group.
All right, very good. Okay, you guys, I want to get Final Fours and winners from each of you.
Can I want to give you like 2 seconds on DraftKings strategy for real.
Well, we're gonna go DraftKings after that. So that's
all right. Ignore me then.
Go ahead if you want. I'm going to pull up the bracket. I didn't have one.
You know what? Let's go on to DraftKings. We'll come back to Final Four because it kind of ties into everything here. Yeah. First of all, and the thing about DraftKings is it's a different format than every other week. It's so much based on wins, and of course you get points for birdies and things like that. Last week we were trying to avoid damage. We were trying to avoid the whammies. This week I think we want to go for birdies. I think we want to shoot for the flag a lot.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is strategy-wise. There's 4. Make sure you have a guy in each region, and then no more than 2 guys in a region. Because you're playing a tournament, you want your guys to go as deep as possible. So you don't want any of your guys to match up early. You obviously don't want 2 guys in the same pod, but you want to make sure that you have a chance to get all Final Four guys. So you want 4 guys in each region, then only 2 in the. You have to take 6. You want 2 in the others, right. But make sure they don't match up in the Sweet 16 either. You could probably you wanted them to match up in the Elite 8. So you want to kind of make sure you look at the bracket and make sure that you can get guys as far as you want. You're playing in a tournament. You're going to have guys advance far. You need like 5 or 6 guys in the Elite 8. So you got to make sure that you not only take the players you want, take the salaries, how they match up, but you got to look at the bracket and make sure that they can go as far as possible without playing each other.
Yeah, that's a really good call. And in the past, I think I've maybe ignored that a little bit there. That's one thing with the pod thing. It makes me not look at the brackets as much.
Yep.
I don't think to look at the actual bracket. You don't see it as much. It's not put in front of you as much. You have to seek it out a little bit more. So, and when I asked you the Final Four, that was a little, I guess that's one thing I should have given you a little bit more time for. But let's talk. Okay, so with all that in mind, Scott, give me a couple of plays in DraftKings.
Yeah, I'm going to go under 10,000. I like Patrick Reed and Webb Simpson. They're 96 and 9100. I really like Cam Smith at 85. Then under 8,000, there's a lot of great plays down here, but my favorite ones, I love Will Z at 7,900. I love Corey Connors at 7,800. And I like Max Homa at 7,400. We talked about him earlier, just recent form, playing really well, 4 straight weeks in the top 25 before that one missed cut after the win. But I think those are the Zalatoris, Connors, Homa under 8,000 is where I'll really attack down low so I can get some expensive guys in my lineup.
Sounds good. Anybody you specifically want to fade? Is it all the big price guys? It sounds like you don't have any of the favorites there.
I will. I'll probably. I think I like DJ just because I think I like the group. JT scares me just because I think that group is so tough. So I'm mostly looking at for the top guys. I'm looking for guys who I think are most likely to get through their group. So DJ, maybe a little bit of Bryson, and I actually like Webb a lot. I have to look at the exact how it works out, but I think that Webb. I think his group works well. I'm not too scared of Mac Hughes. Jeff mentioned Taylor Gooch playing well, and Casey's playing well too. But I think Webb's the guy in there that at 9,100 on DraftKings is an elite player that is not getting priced like it.
All right, very good. All right, I've given you some time to look at the brackets. Jeff, I want to hear a Final Four, and I want to hear your winner.
All right, so yeah, Final Four. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take Patrick Reed. Coming out of the South region, I don't think it's called South region, but out of that particular arm of the bracket, I'm going to push through Cam Smith for reasons discussed earlier to the Final Four, facing Reed in one semifinal. On the other side of the coin, I am going to go. Well, I'm like stuck between Sergio and DJ. I will take Dustin Johnson as a semifinalist, and he is going to end up going against my man Victor Hovland in the other semifinal.
Do you have Hovland on our league too?
I do, yes.
Oh, it sickens me. So I had him last year. I love him. I was like, oh, I'm on him. And then first player out of the chute is DJ. I'm like, oh, he's stopping. I'll advance the bidding because there's no way he stops at this. And I got him. He's the most expensive player in our league, but it was like the lowest, most expensive price we've had in a number of years. But It's fine. It's fine. It just cost me Hovland, and I'm a little bitter about that, but that's all right. Good luck. A Sergio DJ Elite 8 matchup would bode very well for me, so I'll take that. I'll accept that. Scott, what do you got in the final four and your winner?
It's tough. I'm definitely going to go Patrick Reed out of that bracket. I was going to go Cam Smith, but I think I'm going to go a little more chalky there. Actually, I'm not going to go chalky. I'm going to go Jason Day coming out of that group. So I'm going to go Reed and Day, and then I'm definitely taking Will Zalatoris out of that bottom left bracket, and then I like Webb Simpson, the top right bracket. So Webb, Zalatoris, Patrick Reed, and Jason Day.
All right. I let Jeff go first in the final four, so you get to pick a winner first, Scott.
I'm going to go Reed. I think that you give me match play. I'm going to go Reed versus Zalatoris, and Reed coming out on top.
And Jeff?
I want to take DJ over Cam Smith.
All right. I love it.
That would be good for my fantasy team and Jeff's because I have Cam Smith.
Yeah, currying favor with the RotoWire guys. I like it there, Jeff. Well played. Smart. All right. Any parting shots before we take off besides what the heck our show's name is going to be?
We should let the people. We should crowdsource this. We have to figure out how to find and how to make the people happy. This is for the people, right?
Yeah.
We've got to give the people a name that they're happy with. So hopefully by next week we'll have a new brand for the show. But I don't know. I don't know of another. What do you do at RotoWire when you're naming franchises? Is there
it's the RotoWire Fantasy Golf Podcast. It's super original. It works, but yeah, can't do that. Scott, what do you got? Anything else to share?
Just want to say if you're betting some longer shots, Zalatoris, Connors, and Abe Answer all above 50-1 are all shots I think would be fun and have a chance to legit win this thing.
All right, very good. Well, that's going to do it for this week's version of the podcast formerly known as Bettor Golf. We'll have a new name next week, hopefully. But thanks for tuning in. And, crowdsource. Let us know. Those some good names. Maybe we'll choose yours. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.